Janick Journal's coming back at you with part 3 of the Intech V-Twin mower engine builds. So since the last video I did do one small piece of additional work is on the heads. I took 70 thousandths. Let me see if I can get a zoom in and focus. Probably not. I took 70 thousandths off of the valve guide, and that's just to prevent with the newer cam, just to prevent the chances of you know, the keepers or the valve spring retainers bottoming out with a higher lift cam, just to prevent that from happening. But my next step is to get the heads on these blocks, and by doing that, I'm going to use these brand new copper head gaskets that I just got in. Copper Gaskets Unlimited has the head gaskets for these motors. They got a bunch of other head gaskets too. Great looking products. I'm impressed with the finish of the product so far. I haven't used it yet. And they got great instructions how to anneal them, coat them with the copper spray, all that stuff. So I'm going to start with the annealing process. And after you heat them up to what they tell you you start with blue, and then it turns green, and then they say it turns orange. And right when you get it orange, throw it in the water, submerge it all. And I'm going to do that. I got all my head gaskets here. I'm going to do that 4 times. I got extra ones too, but I'm going to leave those for future, just for extras. So let's get to annealing these head gaskets. And after the heat treating is done, you got to take them from, that's how it comes out when it's heat treated, scratched up. I used the red Scotch-Brite, got it scratched up, clean it off good with brake clean, and now it's time to spray them with the copper spray gasket Permatex. And with the gasket sprayed but slightly tacky, probably about 10 minutes or so, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. I'm trying to do this with the camera. Put it on and then just bolt the head down. That's it. I already did the other 3. I kind of forgot. I didn't record it at all, but that's it. You guys know how to bolt the head down, so I'm not gonna go through all that. Let's see what we got next. So I already have the oil pan on. I don't remember if I showed that in the last video. I don't think I did. But what you're going to want to do, it's just well worth it. Take your oil pump cover off. Rotary power. Take that off and just take your oil pump out. It's like 3 pieces. Because what you have is you have this shaft here that lines up to into the cam. So it's driven by the cam. Otherwise, if you don't have it lined up just right, you're not going to get your oil pump to line up, and then you're not going to get your pan on. You're going to be bottoming out against the cam. It's just a pain. It's not worth dealing with. As you can see, it just went together with one hand like no problem. So just take it apart, put it back together after you get the pan on already. Save yourself a headache. And with the heads on the motors, it's off to the valve train now. Got the new rocker arms in from EC, and I've got my cut to length push rods that I need to cut to length and press the rod ends, ball ends into. This process is a total pain in the butt. I'm doing my rough cuts with just a tubing cutter, taking off about 1 inch or so off of them. What I did was I had a stock push rod and then another cut to length push rod I had in another motor, and I just put them in, did a rough install, figured I need a length about halfway in between. The stock one's too long and plus the stock, and the other aftermarket one is a little bit shorter than I want for my adjustment. So I went ahead and cut them. What I need to do now is clean up these ends. I'm going to have to ream them out. So it's unfortunately, I think this is going to be a lathe job. I'm going to have to put them on the lathe. I got the proper size reamer, couldn't do it by hand. So the idea is clean these things up, clean up the ends of them, make them so they can receive these, and then I'm not sure how I'm going to press those in yet, but that's going to be after that. And here we are, 1 down, 7 more to go. Let me show you how I got this finished. I'm already waiting for the hate comments. We're using the Bridgeport, that's right. So it turned out that all those, I just cut them with a tubing cutter, and it's pretty crazy. They were all within 10,000ths of an inch of each other. So to finish them off lengthwise, I just hit them with a file. But here's what we got. I basically have just have this push rod choked up as much as I can. Did I tighten this yet? Yes, I did. As much as I can in this 1/4 inch collet. And then I'm just going for the squeeze here. I'm really not, watch, before the hate, watch this. One finger. It's pressed in. So I'm actually hoping that's tight enough. But I know that's not right. I know that's not the right way to do it. But anyways, what I have here is just an aluminum block. I had a perfect piece laying on the shelf. And what I came up with was I just took one of these adjusters out of a stock rocker arm, drilled and tapped that hole, threaded this up in there. That way I'm pushing the ball end of the rod against the socket end to receive it properly, so I'm not flat spotting the ball or anything. So that's it. Gonna keep doing it. That's what I got going on. Seems to work pretty good. I'm thinking the reamer I have is slightly too small because this was like a factory cut end, and the rod ends slide in. They do slide in easier on those. So maybe I could have done with like a 1/1000th, or I don't even know what increments they come in. Maybe 1/2,000. Bigger reamer, but this one's gonna do the job. And it's been a while since I've recorded, so hopefully this video is not too inconsistent. Got the rocker arms on this motor. Still got to put them on this bank of this head. But yeah, so rocker arms on, 5/1000 valve lash set up. And let me show you what else I've been doing. I've been taking my parts. Some of these parts are salvaged off of my old motors from last year. So I got some parts here, my flywheels, coil mounts, carburetors I'm reusing. I would like to get new carburetors. We'll see how they run, the adapters. One thing was stupid, I had to fight out the old little screws for the carburetor, the coil mounts rather. I had to do the whole weld the nut on trick to get these little stupid things off. I broke all my Allen wrenches trying. One more thing I did, I know it's like super bootleg, but I just tapped the valve, the valley cover or whatever where the PCV setup is for the stock one. I actually tapped that plastic hole with a 1/4 inch pipe thread for the barb to go to my oil catch can. I don't know. We'll see how it works. It was the easiest way to do it, that's for sure. And then I think I showed you guys I tapped these holes where the old governor was, plugged those up. Took the oil sensor off, plugged those up, 1/8 inch pipe tap, or pipe thread. I was already tapped. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna pull my pulse off of the intake. I did that last year, it seemed to work good, so I'm gonna go ahead and try that again, but tap the hole in the intake. They put this like flat spot here. I don't know if Briggs used to tap them, or sometimes they do, but there was no hole or tapping there, so I hit that with an 1/8 inch pipe tap too. And as you can see, we're fast forwarding quite a bit to basically the finished product. My idea with this video, and again, I know I've started and stopped recording, so there's probably not very good consistency in it, but my whole idea wasn't to show you a step-by-step of how to build a motor. It was more or less the things you will encounter that are specific to building these Briggs V-Twin Intecs. So let me show you a couple more things that I had to do to get it to this point. So we got the ARC flywheels. These are old ones I had. They have the adjustable timing. Right now I've just kind of, honestly, just winged it and set it to something that's hopefully not too advanced. I don't think it is. It's lower on that scale, but you really got to use the degree wheel to get it proper, which I will do eventually. Couple things. So with this flywheel, you have to have different coils. That's an old Model 28, and that's a newer style one that they suggest using. I will put the model number in the description for these coils. It is a Briggs coil, and then you need these ARC coil mounts as well. And I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think you have to use the high torque starters with a different ring gear. I may be wrong. I like to use them anyways. They have a solenoid, which you can basically engage and disengage the starter gear itself. So you're not crashing the gear, you're not crashing the two gears together. But here's what a stock starter looks like. The starter itself isn't much bigger, but it just mounts a lot different. And as you can see, this one has a cast aluminum shroud on the top, this one does not. So in order to mount the aftermarket, actually these do come on certain engines, I don't know what. It's a Denso starter, but they make the generic ones, they're like $100. I had to cut out this sheet metal. You can see it kind of, there was a hole here for the stock starter, but this sheet metal continued from here all the way over here, so I had to cut all that out. Also, after I cut that out, I had to cut the plastic, which was no big deal. I just cut that flush. That came out pretty good. And then I'll show you I had to work a lot more on the shroud up top as well. But that's pretty much going to do it. I got these coils gapped at 50 thousandths. You can see the kill switch wire and the all-important diode. If you don't have that diode, the coils will short each other out and not work. It just gets bad. There you can see where I'm going to vent the crankcase from. And then here's my fuel system. It's nothing fancy. I'm going to use the stock style fuel pumps, see how they work out. I got this is a special hose. It looks just like Tygon tubing. It's supposed to be fuel line. It fits really well on these barbs, so far I'm liking it. Aftermarket air filter for the aftermarket air filter adapter. Boy, I don't know, at the time of making this video, these things are like, I can't find these anywhere. I'm hoping they get back in stock. I have two for these motors, but you know, I want to change them fairly frequently. So I had to carve quite a bit of this plastic out to fit the filter, and honestly I could go more, but I'm in a serious time crunch, so that's gonna have to do for now. Up on the front of the motor, these are my little brackets I made up that hold the throttle. I have everything ready to go here. You can see this barrel, that's where I'm gonna put the throttle cable into. I got my springs, both springs back there, 2 springs as required for US LMRA. Also required for US LMRA is I need to put clamps in these fuel lines. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Of course, I have no exhaust on it right now. That's coming soon. I got my exhaust bends in, new exhaust flanges, wrap and everything ready to roll. I'm probably gonna mimic something like this exhaust system that I had made before. I think it's fairly equally length. So I think I'm gonna try to mimic this, something very similar to that anyways. That's pretty much gonna do it for the motor build series on these things. Just got to throw this one together. Next up, you'll be seeing them run. I have a test and tune in like a couple days from now. I'm hoping I make it, hoping everything runs good. If so, I'll probably maybe I'll just do a little short video. I'll throw in a YouTube short. See these things running, hopefully. So until next time, catch you guys later.